Yeah, it almost feels like they need that mid playmaker in all their lineups because I don't think you're going to get it from Mizu. I think you're just going to get kind of a carry in your off lane, and that's fine. You just have to compensate, and your mid laner just is going to have to be that playmaker.
Yeah. I like that Nigma is not drafting right now things that have a lot of weaknesses, it feels to me. Like, this feels like a kind of stable, strongish lanes, good, decent lineup. When they have first pick, I always fear for them because they have a very big tendency of just drafting themselves into a hole and then just losing the game off the back of it.
Yep.
I know, like, they're kind of scary for me in general because even when they played against,
10 seconds remaining.
was it Polaris? It was whatever team hides on. They had a better draft by far, and the game still went to an hour and 20 minutes. And it's like, this team is so 50-50 on what they're gonna do. I just need them to have a good draft, win their lanes, and this is a big strong team.
I think
It's a big ass though.
that is a very, very big ask.
It's Talon, right? Yeah.
I was gonna say, I was about to say, I'm pretty sure you're talking about the Talon NGX.
Yes, Talon. Yeah, that game was funny.
It was. It's very interesting. The DP, have you guys touched on it? Do you want to touch on it? Do you feel like there's anything to be added? Does it give too much away? Nothing away at all?
I feel like I've seen this opening from that Fnatic series we were covering from both sides. Like, you pick the Lion, Shaman, plus DP versus the Puck. You got the Silence. Strong laner. You have tons of stuns in your supports here. And no stuns on your cores. So
FBZ's a beast on the DP. When that hero was super meta and getting first phase every game, he was owning kids on it. So that does make me hopeful then for this Tim's clock that you wanted.
and they're just gonna put Razor carry.
Yeah.
And then last pick for Yopaj.
Seems it.
But they already saw the Puck. It seems weird they would give him last overall pick. With already seen, does Yopaj play DP at all?
He probably I don't think I've seen him play it. He might pick DK. That's what he played.
But why wouldn't he just pick DK right there? Because like what doesn't make sense to me is like they have last pick. They should give last pick to counter NGX's current pick, which the pick he's doing right now.
Yeah.
That would make most sense to me. But if they're just gonna
maybe they're flexing.
Maybe think
they're flexing.
this Puck can be offlane. I'm not sure.
I was gonna say
I don't know who's gonna be carry them.
We have not seen Yopaj play DP either in the major nor 2-2. So recently we haven't seen him play it.
Yeah, it doesn't. But we also hadn't seen him play Tiny, and then he just came out in this tour swinging.
Could be doing a lot of things behind the scenes that we don't know about. But before Boom do get their last pick, we see NGX.SEA pick up Faceless Void here.
I mean, if they have the versatility, they could just slap down a Veno right now versus Void. We've seen that matchup. Almost feels unplayable for Faceless Void if your support can't, like, spell for you. And I don't think, like, Tree is a little bit of heal, but, like, Veno Clock would just run over that lane incredibly hard.
Okay.
If they want to use their last pick for a counter pick. The DP's fine versus the Void too, but he can always, hop out whenever he's getting siphoned.
Yep.
So, I mean, as far as mid picks go, I'm not sure. Like, if they pick a DK, that'd be super underwhelming, but I would get it. Like, why they would do it.
It makes sense, but you don't want to see it.
I would have rather seen it on that DP pick instead, but yeah.
I want to see the Yopaj Wind Ranger. That's what I want.
Okay. Why is that?
Because
iconic hero.
It's what do you mean? It was one of his absolute most standout heroes at the Singapore major he played at. He's just
iconic, yeah.
It was iconic as hell. Yeah, you just sounded sarcastic. I can't tell what's going on with your voice. But I just don't know.
It did a little bit.
Yeah, like it's just okay, Beast Monster. So they are running the mid DP.
That's also a Void counter. So it gives you a stun too, so maybe they didn't want to go too much into like the not having enough stuns department, so they found a middle ground. Veno would dumpster way harder, but this is still a really good matchup for Beastmaster.
Free knows a lot about toxic offlaners.
Well, two people who have never, ever been toxic in their whole life is our casters, Mike and John. We're going to bring them in. Yeah. Look at those grins. Those grins, they could never be toxic. John, if you want to start with breaking down this draft for me.
Look, NGX, they get Dreamo Cell in, they get
They get DreamOCell his Dawnbreaker safely.
It's offlane faceless void.
Yeah, it's an offlane
Once a
losing
carry
void.
player, always a carry
It's already different. You know, DreamOCell, he's the kind of person who plays these weird heroes. I don't know how it's gonna go. I'd say it's rather even, but the draft, Boom has a much more standard draft. They have some good timings to hit. NGX, we'll see how well DreamOCell kind of fits in and how he faces off against his former team, especially since, you know, Epool is still there, FBZ is there. A little bit of old teammate fight here.
It's very true.
It's good to see Boom Esports. They've hired Agent DreamOCell here for this series against NGX.SEA. So 4v6, I don't see how NGX win this one. It's pause one Dawnbreaker. What does it do?
Okay, you say this. I have seen 2 pause 1 Dawnbreakers, one in Eastern Europe and one in NA, and both of them won. Both of them, I'm pretty sure, only died once. So there's potential. There's a lot of potential for this carry Dawn. I will. The only time I'll ever fight back against Mike is this right now.
Disregard Mike opinions always.
I told you they could.
NA
Huh?
and EEU. NA and EEU.
No,
were the
Western Europe. It was
regions you
Western Europe. It was Western Europe.
No, we saw a
Oh,
carry
even
Dawn in
worse.
And
Western
we
Europe.
saw it in Eastern Europe too. It was also Western Europe Division 2. But anyway, I'm not going to even ask you guys what you prefer. We're just going to jump straight into game 1. You don't want to hear me anymore. We want to hear Mike and John.
Oh, thank you so much, Nat. We do get into it. John, good to see Nat's done her homework. I don't know what to tell you. Western Europe and NA. Compared to SEA, John, they don't even, it doesn't even hold a candle, Jonathan. I mean, why are we even talking about these stats? Let's move into game number 1, 4v6 situation for NGX.SEA to get us started. You saw the team photos, John DreamOCell.
Yep.
He couldn't even put an NGX jersey on. What's wrong with this guy? A bit too obvious there, DreamOCell.
To be fair, he's wearing the jersey in the team house. You know, he is there in Malaysia. He's with the team. He's in the proper colors.
Even
It's
worse.
just that they probably didn't even take a picture earlier on. You know, maybe this is a bit of revenge. You remember the last tour? Nido's gonna kill me again. But that was up against NGX, where they did get that 2-0. So this is Boom's way of getting revenge by making it a 4v6. That could be the play. That could be the play deep down inside. Of course, probably not. But that does make it funnier. Of course, the big highlight for NGX now is we have In Your DreamOCell. He's replacing In Your Dream for now,
don't say that.
standing in. And, well, it's Randy. You know, he's known for banging his desk. He's playing a hero with a little bit of a desk bang itself with Starbreaker. We did see him kind of tapping the desk a while ago on the cams. I'm wondering if NGX have reinforced those desks, because that is something DreamOCell loves to do. So it's going to be a test of desk resoluteness here. And I do like what NGX is doing. Look at the Lackety. He's trying to poke, not Roshan, but he doesn't go for the White Mon move. He doesn't actually aggro it.
We'll see how that pans out for them, John. I mean, it's going to be a very interesting best of 3 series here between NGX.SEA and Boom. And where's DreamOCell going? Is he? He's not playing mid. No, he's not playing mid. Get him out of here. He's just body blocking the camp, the creep wave rather. Trying to set it up for his mid lane. Let's talk about the bot lane though, should we? I mean, DreamOCell on this pos 1 Dawnbreaker. Apparently it worked in some other regions. You and I, we've been seeing Dawnbreakers even in the offlane building up into Desolators and Bashers and things like that. John, but you personally, do you have faith in this pos 1 Dawnbreaker?
It's a tough sell. I think it's maybe a little bit better than having your win condition hang on the Void. It has a little bit earlier tempo. Some quick build-up can make it rather aggressive. The lane matchup's still pretty tough. Look what Boom's done here already, Mike. They've cut the tree line. They're making a car for Boomboy to just kind of reach in, use that Nature's Skies, get some right clicks off, you know, hook up with the early Nature's Graphs as well. So it's a lot tougher for the tree to leverage its level 1. And you're still dealing with Beastmaster lane here for DreamOCell. It is FBZ's Beastmaster, which is funny enough, one of his top heroes from the time when DreamOCell was on Boom. So both sides should kind of know the ins and outs of this matchup. It's much more comfy for FBZ, I'd say. It's not going to be the slowest going lane for DreamOCell. You do go for Axis level 1 here for FBZ. So it's not like he's harassing out with a Boris, trying to get some slow harassment onto DreamOCell. But it still does feel like a lane that's set up for Boom to kind of find those first few levels here. At least until the tree line comes back. Once it's back, maybe Boomboy applies a little bit more pressure and starts to force Boom to work on that lane a little bit more.
Yeah, I suppose so. We'll have a look at the mid lane, of course. You're going to have Yopaj and Alacrity going at it here on the DP and Puck. So far, it seems to favor Yopaj, but it should be a rather close matchup here between these two, as now going to see plenty of deniers back and forth between these two heroes. Anything in particular to keep an eye out on these mid heroes here, John?
Tends to go pretty stable. It is I would say a DP favored lane. We've seen the DP just stay a lot stronger, play around with Spirit Siphon more, has stable wave clear with the Crypt Swarm, all down to rune control. If Alacrity does find the power runes back to back, that can set the puck to come back in, and of course level 6 timing, team fight threat of the puck is a little bit stronger there. So we'll have to see if NGX does get that room to rotate in. They do have good supports to get that done, if they have the space to kind of walk into that lane.
All right, well, top lane, of course, the final one. You've got Jackie and Skem against Mizu and JoeCam. For now, I suppose with the Void, you'd rather be against the Razor anyway, so it's probably the reason for the lane switch up is now Mizu. He does actually get cogsed up after using the Time Walk, so it's going to be plenty of damage out here from Jackie and Skem. Plasma Field out as well, and that's first blood. Very nice catch there by Skem, realizing there was no way out. JoeCam, he could not help in that scenario.
And it's one of the things we always say about the Faceless Void here, Mike. Level 1 Time Walk, massive cooldown. Once you see that used up, you can play aggressive. You do have a very aggressive safe lane for Boom with Razor. We've seen Jackie play this multiple times. He knows how to work that lane. Clockwork does allow you to set up for that aggression a lot earlier as well. It's a bit of a toughie for NGX. You have dual melee lane with a Marcy here and Void for Mizu and for JoeCam. Up against a Clock, that's not comfy. Up against a Razor, even less.
Yopaj. He finds a solo pick off mid lane. JoeCam is going to try and punish him, but he's ran out of mana. Doesn't have the dispos to throw out to keep trying to chase him down. And Yopaj, that's a very rare kill to see, John. DP versus Puck mid, and you get the DP, well, not first blood, but you get a kill solo like that. Something that doesn't seem like it should happen, especially without the silencer.
Shouldn't be, but again, if you misstep here as the Puck, the constant spam for the Crypt Swarm is pretty damaging from Yopaj, and if you time your Spirit Siphon well, you can go for those deeper dives and start to look for that aggression. Alacrity, you're going to have to watch himself. We talked about the timings of the Puck here, Mike. Have to hit that level 6 early to have a little bit of presence, threaten with the team fight, whereas for the DP, Exorcism's still a big tool spell, kind of toolkit to use in your spell to push these team fights forward, but in comparison to the Dream Coil, it takes a little bit more time for that damage to come out, whereas Dream Coil, you have some nice combos here to play with. The Dispose combo we've seen multiple times, so you do want Alacrity to kind of have at least a matching start. He is still finding some good CS, but with a kill, Yopaj definitely feels like he's going to be lining up for the 6 a bit faster, and maybe need those earlier support rotations or something to help stabilize this lane. If the Puck pulls too far behind, mid-tier one's going to be under push threat just from the Exorcism alone.
That's why I like the DP pick as well from Boom, right? Because you saw that Pos 1 Razor coming out early on from Boom Esports in the draft, and against the Treant Protector, it's just so difficult to get any towers down when you haven't got a pushing style hero. So I do kind of appreciate that they go down the Death Prophet route. As now bot lane, a Dreamer Cell, he's going to be okay, just copping a fair bit of damage out, but as the Dawnbreaker can kind of abuse that Celestial Hammer to get out of there, and it's like Boom Boy is going to salve him up anyway. But back to the point though, John. You've got a Pos 1 Razor, kind of hard to take objectives, so you choose the DP on Boom, and it kind of rectifies the situation for Boom Esports with these drafts. We'll see if they can hold Yopaj back this game. This DP, it can pop off very quickly.
Yeah, it doesn't take too much farm for the DP to hit its stride. I think the one thing for Boom as well, down the line you can get a little bit more push out of your Razor. Ag's buildup is not the most common, but certainly something we've seen maybe as a 4th, 5th item pickup in certain games.
Dreamer Cell already using that Celestial Hammer, but isn't really going to get punished for it. Just very, very high armor on that Dawnbreaker already. Very hard to kind of get through, so Dreamer Cell just going to be handed some tangos. And, you know, props to Andy, John. He's top of the CS board right now on that Dawnbreaker, so no real struggle yet for the DB.
Yeah, he's still managing to get that farm. FBC does have the level 2 boars up, but he's managed to stabilize his lane. He is going for Phase Boots Desolator here, Mike, on the Dawnbreaker, so going for the right clicks. Let's see if it pays off. Boomboy can be able to TP out from a little bit of an attempt on his life and just kind of buy some space out. That is still runes coming out for the side of Boom. That is a very well-timed arcane rune as well, so here comes that early push we're talking about. Siege creep up, Yopaj with the Exo, threatens that tier 1 mid.
Yeah, Siege Creep is definitely going to help the cause, and if you let this go this early on, it's just disastrous with the Treant Protector. Like, you can't allow this to happen, as the stun is going to fly in onto the Puck. JoeCam going to try and dispose on the line, but Tim's is just perfectly fine, as Yopaj will just keep going for a little bit longer. They might have to back soon, but the damage has been done. Of course, you are going to get a bit of healing out here with this Treant Protector, but see if Boom can try and snipe this tier 1 before that happens.
Yeah. And that drags down 3 heroes towards mid as well, opening the side lanes here for Boom to get a little bit more aggressive. It's a great lane, one-on-one for Jack to manage. It's a decent lane for FBZ to just kind of sit back and farm. So, you know, you drag a lot of resources out from NGX to counteract that mid. Sure, you don't find a tower yet. It's still within the danger zone of 300 HP. And you get a lot of space out, especially for the Razor. It does feel like if Jackie is allowed to hit a pretty fast BKB timing here, you don't have much threat on the Razor. You have a Dawnbreaker 1, you have a Faces Void who, if he doesn't get the chrono off in the right angle, can tough.
FBZ, he's been caught out here. John Randy's got him. FBZ gonna go down. Dream Cell able to take a kill on his former teammate. That'll be 1-0 in the side of Dream Cell.
Yeah, that's a pretty strong message sent out. You know, first kill for NGX comes from Dreamocell onto his actual former teammate. So Dreamocell looking like he's having a good time here. Building up again, already has the phase boots into that Deso. Great use of a first Solar Guardian. That does mean you don't have that big teamfight spell to play with, but it doesn't seem to matter. I think NGX are just opting to take it a little bit slower. They are confident in the fact that they can delay the push with the Living Armor. They've managed to heal that tier 1 mid up to at least 450 or so HP. So the next poke out from Yopaj might still take a little bit of time. You do have levels starting to build up. You would want your 60 up here in the void.
They got Alacrity here, John. Oh, that's a great Earth Spike. Tim's right onto, as the rebound was coming out. Poor old Joe Cam. He gets caught in it. It's Joe Cam. He'll try to run now, but without the rebound, you can't get away. A double kill for Yopaj. NGX.SEA, they probably should have seen this coming, John. Exorcism back off cooldown means Boom can easily go back for that mid-tier 1 tower. And they certainly weren't going to wait for the Treant to be able to get it back up to full HP, that's for sure.
Yeah, they understand that they have to play pretty fast up against that early stall from NGX. They do manage to hit the level 6 timing now in Mizu. You can kind of combine that with some of your circles here in Chrono, Overgrowth, Solar Guardian, and Dream Coil, I guess. But it just doesn't feel like you have the damage follow through for that. You do have some good chain stuns. So maybe you can hold them back long enough to get the damage off. It's still a bit tough. These are fairly tanky heroes, especially the DP and that Beastmaster can be really hard to dig through. So I'm keen to see what NGX tries to do with this lineup, because we had some question marks going in with that draft. And Dreamocell's still farming. He's still number 3 in network, is lagging behind Jackie now in comparison with how free a lane Jackie's had. But it is still ramping up. So there is an early smoke play out from NGX. Let's see what they find here.
They've got Jackie. That's a big pick off. They can get it. Jackie gonna wait it out as they are gonna throw out the Solar Guardian, though. A nice juke out. Jackie knowing the range, but still the Starbreaker is gonna land and he will eventually drop. The TP's not quick enough, and now Tim's in big trouble as well as Joe Cam does get the dispos off. Very nice rotations here from NGX.SEA and a nice attempt to try and get away from that coil, but eventually he was just surrounded by way too many heroes on that Razor.
And he did manage to dodge the Solar Guardian, still not enough. And they had enough damage inside of NGX. Boom did not manage to collapse enough heroes in. Looks like they're more than happy to just work what they can from giving that kill away. Starting to push in bot here with FBZ already having that full Dominator up. And Living Armor is just not enough to stop that. It's still a Beastmaster. It's still a tremendous amount of push with a threat with the DP on top of it. NGX are going for the top in exchange. Should be able to find this no problem. But you still have a good map control advantage here for Boom with mid and bot cleared out. Bot jungle access open for the Dar side. And now it's Boom's turn to smoke. They do have 6 up on Scam, so they should have that hook shot ready to go. Could try to find a nice isolated here to go for. If Dreamocell stays too long, he doesn't have that Solar Guardian to bail out here.
Nor does he have anything like a BKB to defensively get out, but he does back off at the right moment. Boom still smoked up. Scam got the hook shot, will go right in onto Dreamocell with a great Cogs pushback. Back onto the Dawnbreaker with the finger to be committed. They should have plenty of damage out, and they do. Joe Cam, he will not make it out either. Another double kill to go the way of Yopaj as they even see Mizu. But he should be fine to time walk out of there. It is still going to be a 2-for-0 trade the way of Boom Esports. And John, well, they're off to a really nice lead here. 4K net worth advantage to the way of the Dire. NGX, you might have had a good smoke rotation earlier on, but you've got to watch that net worth graph.
Yeah, definitely need to be a bit careful about allowing Boom to build up. They are trying to get some aggression onto Tim's.
He commits Chrono. This is dangerous. Tim's is not going to die from this. Solar Guardian, though, is going to fly through and get it done. Now the coil. Skem also being caught, but goes for the Cog's pushback. Ban onto the Dawnbreaker as Mizu eventually will be able to set up, and they'll get the clockwork as well. Nice pickups here from NGX.SEA. Dreamer's Soul having the Solar Guardian to be able to help out, and well, NGX, they don't seem to want to slow down in the aggression yet, but they are certainly out of spells to do so.
I still think the NGX has the right idea of what they want to do on the map. Just keep playing aggressively when you have these big team fight spells ready to go. Keep applying that global pressure you have with the Solar Guardian and try to look for those solo pickoffs. Boom, not giving them the opportunity to kind of jump them as a group with that wide AoE control. They are dropping a support or two here and there. They did lose Jackie earlier on, but Jackie's still in a very comfy farming position. Almost at that BKB already here, Mike, on the Razor. So once you have that full BKB, it's going to be tough to lock in that Razor with the same move unless you have a Chrono, and that's the longest cooldown you have on your team's end. So the uptime of jumping the Razor starts to shrink down, and for Boom, once you hit maybe the 15-minute mark here with a couple of BKBs, that's when the game feels a lot more manageable. NGX, they have Chrono, they have Overgrowth to kind of contribute to that. We haven't seen the Treant join in a lot of these rotations, and Boom also has some tempo here. I mean, Hookshot's not a very long cooldown for them to play aggressively as well.
Certainly isn't. Jokam may get caught right now as he does go for a dispose out onto Skem, but a hook shot, oh, blocked off by the Ancients. Very unfortunate there for Skem. Streamersaw does actually pull the Ancients back to make that block happen. I believe accidentally, though, as Skem still gonna back his way out just fine, it seems, but the rest of Boom are starting to slowly move their way in. They're not gonna go all the way, but they do have Exorcism back up in 2 seconds. It seems like Boom, they want to get that final tier 1 tower up at the top lane. They've even dragged FBZ along. I just wonder whether NGX.SEA can actually fight this. No Chrono up. They have the Dream Coil, but well, they actually have the Solar Guardian now, so it does just come off cooldown. Overgrowth also available here for NGX.SEA if they do want to try to force a fight. Still, it does seem like a very rough fight to take without that Chrono up, and well, Boom, they might be the ones to force the fight anyway. Skem's got Hookshot in 5. Just very patiently waiting. Of course, you have the roar up from FBZ as well, and there's your hookshot to set up perfectly right onto Mizu with the Hex out into the finger. They've blown him up already. Mizu just disappearing on the Void as they'll find the top tier 1 tower. And mind you, John, that was no Exorcism pop. They can go for another if they really want to, or they could try for Roshan.
Roche play is probably the safer bet here for Boom. Going on to the tier 2s is still a bit tough. You still have to respect that Dream Coil and the Solar Guardian. There's a lot of space coming out for Dreamosel. That should be his full Desolator finished up here, so even more damage out in that pause 1. We'll have to see if that timing will pay off. Inside of Boom, not quite committing for the Roche though, just kind of opting to take that triangle a little bit, clear out some farm, get some more build-up going. Jackie already 1 Perseverance in, almost, for the refresh. So hitting some really nice early spikes. Still number 2 in that word, Yopaj at number 1. They've got a lot of protection here in the middle of these team fights coming out from Boom with the 3K lead on hand. For NGX, it doesn't feel like they managed to stall this fight out or to push out long enough, right? Like, they've got the Treant, they've already lost all of their tier 1 towers. They've managed to find 1 tier 1, but nothing else. Map control heavily in Boom's favor. They've got an overwhelming amount of vision here from Boom. Maybe not in the wards, but with the Hawks, with the rocket flares, it's actually pretty tough for NGX to feel safe on the map. They have to drop a lot of sentries just to ensure Hawks aren't watching them. They will sneak the Roche themselves with that Deso though. So we'll see if this play pays off from NGX.
You've got plenty of damage. I mean, Jokam's going to give the max sidekick constantly away to Dreamer's Soul here, and well, they certainly have the better team fight right now with all the spells up. So they're just going to sneak Roshan, and well, Boom Esports, they've smoked up, but they are certainly probably not expecting this. I believe a rocket flare though may have scattered out as they are moving their way over. Roshan, very, very low, but not low enough yet. Scan out is going to give the information. Keep in mind, Exorcism is still available here for Yopaj, but everything else is up right now for NGX.SEA. Boom, they are going to play this very slowly, though. Just not wanting to give up the Roshan, I think, is the idea here. And I mean, they've got a mid-wave pushing in as well. Eventually, someone from NGX is going to have to try and address that. Problem is, they can't leave this area anymore, otherwise Roshan goes the way of Boom.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Just kind of trying to hold on to 2 objectives at the same time. whereas Boom's pressuring onto objectives rather effectively. Again, with a Beastmaster, with a Boar, with a dominated creep, it's still a fairly good amount of push to kind of eat through that living armor, not allow it to heal up too much. The side of NGX now trying to do the same, applying pressure into that top tier 2, while still keeping an eye on Roshan. So it might just end up being a tower for tower trade unless someone really decides to force the fight. And that does feel a lot more favorable for Boom, because once this mid tier 2 is cleared out, they can just easily swing into the Rosh, maybe even just hold their triangle and just wait for NGX to kind of go in. I mean, they still have the Roar, they still have the Hook, they still have Exo, as you've pointed out. They have everything ready to go. So it's a lot tougher now for NGX just giving that free mid-tier 2.
Yeah, no, they do. Now, Roshan might still go the way of Boom if they can't win this fight incoming, John. NGX.SEA still hanging around. Skem gonna see the orb from the puck, so we'll loop around the long way. Hook shot to get started. Boom Boy gonna break the smoke, but there's your hook shot in. They'll go for the easier pickup on the Treant Protector. No pressure here for Boom to go for anything bigger than that. They might keep trying though. Skem is gonna get caught up as Mizu does make the jump in, but there's this Solar Guardian coming out from Dreamercell, but is it gonna prove to be enough? He does get Skem at the very least, but now all his damage has been sapped away. Zeopage, he does have the ulti going. It's like Joe Cam is gonna get caught off guard by Jackie. And now Roshan's completely open, so Boom, not only do they find the mid-tier 2, but they might find Roshan for free anyway.
Yeah, Exo is still running. There is the chrono play that could come out from NGX. We'll see if Mizu gets the timing right. Could try for a nice steal. A lot harder with Hawk Vision guarding though. So Boom can always choose to reposition, and they kind of opt to back off. Support for a support in the end. And Roche still not taken. Dropping to dangerously low levels, but both sides are patient.
That they are. Dreamercell, he's not though, John. Dreamercell's right in. They've got the chrono advantage. They want to go. Alacrity will get silenced. Yopage does go in. Roshan 2 down low. Mizu trying to save the day is Dreamercell. He has got it. Tim's a great earth spike, but a big overgrowth out from Boom Boy trying to hold them down, but Dreamercell, he's going to lose the Aegis. Nice dispose from Joe Cam. Again, trying to set up. Now Mizu the one in danger as the Roar comes out. They do at least find Jackie on the Razor, but Dreamercell, a triple kill on the Dawnbreaker. He's going for an Ultra. On to Japoy they go. They've got Yopage held down with the Dream Coil, and it seems like he might get it. Though Skem does move in with the cogs now, and Dreamercell, he's dropping low himself. Yopage back in. Dreamercell is gone. No Ultra kill for him as the puck. Alacrity wants to keep going, but might have to decide to orb out of there, and does do so, but Japoy's right nearby. Spirit Siphon out, the puck may have had to orb the other way, but has another. Yopage still oh, that's a great rocket flare. Skem, he'll take it himself. Perfect timing. What a team fight coming up from both sides, but in the end, I do believe that still favors Boom, John.
It definitely favors Boom. They take out the 2 lives of Dreamocell. They managed to really work around that fight really well. I mean, it was a great chrono out from Mizu to allow them to take the Aegis, just not enough for the follow through, as your Dawnbreaker is still highly vulnerable without the BKB, without the Blink as well. No mobility on this hero, just very isolated, especially when the Clockwork manages to just run up you and use that battery assault. It doesn't feel great, as you would know as a Clock player, Mike. Boom. Feeling good here, and they lose Roshan, but they still have that mid-tier 2 advantage. They still have cleared out all the tier 1s. They have that bot jungle to run around with. They're reaching this point now with FVZ with a full helm of the Overlord up. They've got the Ancient Creeps. They can just keep shoving and using the vision vantage.
Oh, mid lane. Dreamercell, he is caught out. That's a big silence, and again, he has no BKB up. It will wear out now, but it's too late. This is why you see a lot of players going for the BKB over the Deso first. Dreamercell, however, John, classic SEA POS 1, not even queuing up a BKB.
Yeah, I mean, he had it queued up earlier with a Blink BKB. Now he's just going for Blink Lincolns. Maybe relying on the Starbreaker sort of spell immunity with a Shard to kind of give him an opening. It's just not amazing. You have no hard dispel of your own. And as mentioned, FVZ has the Overlord. They have Exo back up. The push continues bot.
I mean, Mizu can try to slow this down, but he doesn't have chrono for another 10 seconds. So boom, they could just move in happily. Absolutely no issue here. Alacrity. Again, chipping away at Yopage. They just try and get them low before the chrono's back up, and now it is So they might be able to force this fight as Jokam, Dream Coil is connected, but Yopaj still fine as now the Solar Guardian does fly through Yopaj. He's on the run out, and now Randy in a bit of trouble. Dispose away, Chrono committed. Jackie, he'll go for the chase out, but the Overgrowth is going to hold him down. But do they have any form of damage? Not quite, as Hookshot is out on Alacrity, and they've got another. Tim's goes down, but you got a 2-for-1 special there if you're Boom. It's Mizu. I mean, he can keep trying to fight, and he will, as Boom Boy will jump in. That's a big Starbreaker out. Dreamer Cell getting 1, getting 2. Can they get Jackie, though? He'll BKB TP out, and he's not going to make it. An Ultra kill out for Alacrity now. And that was a massive Starbreaker from Dreamer Cell, but, well, Boom Esports in the end overextending, and NGX.SEA able to punish.
Yeah, they managed to hold on to the racks here for NGX.SEA. They keep the racks as they lose a tier tree. Unfortunate for Jackie at the end. He gets bashed up by Nimizu. Maybe if he didn't, there wouldn't be enough damage, and he TPs away, mitigating some of the losses there. Boom, still in a comfy position, but you are allowing NGX to come back in. Dreamocell not too far behind in comparison to Jackie's farm. Does have his blink up now on the Dawnbreaker, so could try for some cheeky initiations here, although.
Yeah, Scam has been caught out. It is just the +5 clockwork, but it's still a nice pick off here for NGX.SEA. And you kind of need anything you can get right now on this Radiant team, so they do take another. I wonder, Jonathan, is there a point where you think this +1 Dawnbreaker actually starts to outscale the side of Boom with their own cores?
You know, level 20 feels pretty big for Dawnbreaker core, although FBZ.
Yeah, he's in. Still plenty of damage coming out from Dreamer Souls. Now the Overgrowth has been committed, forcing the roar out from FBZ into the Hawk Dive, back in onto the DB, and they've got him. Maybe a bit too overly confident, as this Lion is still going to drop, but Jackie's moved in, picking off Boom Boy. Jokam still fighting FBZ, but it's going to cost his own life. It's still worth it for Boom Boy, but not worth it for NGX.SEA. Jackie cleans up with a double. Now, I suppose you are right. Going back to my previous question, like, maybe for the start, for the Dawnbreaker, level 20 is really where you want to be. Maybe level 25, though, with the double Starbreaker charges, it does seem a lot stronger.
Yeah, that could be the spikes we're looking for here. And just kind of stack up in strength as well to build up in the luminosity damage. Maybe get some more durability up in the hero, and it can be a little bit hard to deal with. Although we are seeing Boom not have too many massive issues until they start clumping up. They do have to be conscious about their spacing here on Boom's end, as we have seen the best situations for NGX. It's not the big chronos. It is, to an extent, maybe the Dream Coils and Overgrowths, but it comes down to connecting with Starbreaker. If you're stuck together for the Starbreaker to connect with Dreamocell, with the Death Swap, the damage is still quite high. So I think Boom just has to be spaced out a little bit more, stay disciplined. They still have a good lead. 4K, it hasn't grown. So NGX is keeping up with farming pace that Boom is bringing out. Boom, though, not resting here. Will go for a smoke play again. They've got Hawk's Vision. They've got the Flare. They have a lot of ways to go around the map and find some of these isolated targets here.
Oh, this could be terrible for NGX.SEA, John. They're right underneath that Hawk Vision you just talked about. And Skem, he's going to have the easiest hook shot of his life into the Tree Protector. That's going to be Boom Boy gone. Nice Dream Coil out from Alacrity, but keep in mind they don't have many buybacks right now. As a Grey Cox pushback is there. Scam making so Mizu can't do anything. Now FBZ catches him out. Oh, that Cogs really screwed them up, and as soon as they saw the Beastmaster right after, they knew the Chrono was doing nothing. Big pickoffs here for Boom, and NGX.SEA, they even committed a buyback from Boom Boy that amounts to nothing.
Yeah, and Boom, I mean, they don't really have much to wait for. They have the refresh ready to go on Jackie, so they could opt to just go in again, go for that high ground here. Exo at the ready for Yopaj, and they go. No Chrono to threaten here.
And they dispose, but Yopaj, he doesn't mind. He wants to be close to the racks anyway. It's a bit too far away earlier on. They do go for that bot racks. No issues here so far for Boom. Mizu is back up in 5, but he has no Chrono up, so he's a walking time dilation, basically. They will get the bot racks. They do have a bit of time to try and get the mid-tier 3 tower, but they may not bother, or maybe they do. Buybacks are still quite low here on NGX.SEA, but it doesn't seem like Boom are going to overstay their welcome. They are going to back off to safety. And I think with a 7k net worth advantage, you just know there's no reason not to be disciplined here. You can just play the slow game.
You can just play it safe, go for the objectives as they come. Don't give any openings to NGX. They still have pretty good high ground with all the AO control they do have on hand. So you don't push the envelope too hard. You just play to your strengths here on Boom. Keep working the map. Keep shoving in waves with your Beastmaster, threatening around with a vision, and just choke out NGX. Don't give them any room to recover, because that is still a Faceless Void, which, you know, has gone for more utility with a build. Raid Pact up on Mizu. You could always pivot if the game starts to turn a bit, you know, with a couple of swings here and there, but that takes a lot of time. Boom just doesn't want to give that time and space out. Starting to shove in that top tier 2 here. They've got the Thunderhide creep, giving the Frenzy over to Jackie every time. Good amount of damage coming through Roche. Not the longest here either, Mike. Only half a minute away. This could be really good timing for Boom if they choose to be patient, and it does look like they're sticking to that plan. Just holding on to the triangle, keep the farm game going. NGX does have some room down bot, so they are finding a little bit of space to keep building up. I don't see any instant items coming through here, and that helps the cause. Dream Assault still trying to work onto his Lincoln Sphere. And that's going to stop one stun. It's still not going to help him against anything else, although.
Yeah, here we go. Joe Cam caught out for a moment. Hook shot. It's not going to be up. It was committed there by Scam. Roshan is back up though, John, and that's a bit concerning here for NGX.SEA because they really cannot afford to give that one away. You take Roshan, you're going to have Exorcism for Boom, and you're going to go right back through that mid lane. We'll see if they spot it out, and they do. The Hawk will give vision. And you see Boom, they immediately turn around for it. It's got the Shard's Blessing as well. Definitely a very, very valuable Roshan here for Boom Esports. And, well, for NGX.SEA, John, it doesn't really feel like they can move out of the base right now.
Nah, they're kind of stuck here. They have to play with their strengths in team fight, try to get a good chrono, try to get a good overgrowth, dream coil, kind of stack, not stack, but, you know, kind of get that stun chain together really well in this team fight and funnel Boom into a tight corner, into the high ground. It can work, it's just a lot tougher to pull off compared to what Boom has on hand with a secondary life coming through. You do have the Basher up on Dreamosel, and they go for a smoke, but it's just a bit too late.
I mean, they're going to find Scam, but it's a +5 clockwork, and he's already seen them. He knows they're smoked up. So now Aegis up on Jackie. Scary, scary times. If you are NGX.SEA, as they're going to have to try and find a way to defend this high ground now. Again, Exorcism is still available for them on Boom. The team's actually got the shards on the line, which is interesting. Not something I was quite expecting, but I guess they don't have the greatest shards builders here on the side of Boom, as they are going to start moving in. Joe Camp. Going to start off. Yopaj already dropping a little bit low. Yule's going to save him from Dreamer's Soul and the Starbreaker. Now Mizu jumping in, but no chrono yet. He'll hold out. They are just trying to focus on Japoi. Another nice dispose is there, and now Mizu, he does commit. Solar Guardian is out. They've got the Death Prophet. Not a bad start here for NGX.SEA, but can they keep going? What a massive range away for a dispose. Jack is in trouble. He is gone. That's one life. Mizu and Dreamer's Soul going to try again, but now the turnaround is there. FBZ's in. The refresh out from Jackie, but no. Dreamer's Soul going to be saved once again, this time by Joe Cam. They TP in and keep trying the fight going. Tim's, he does end up going down. Boom, they'll need to TP out of here as Skim somehow getting bashed up. He's going to die. And now FBZ's been caught out. Dreamer's Soul finds him. Ex-teammates. Dreamer's Soul cleaning up, and Boom Esports suddenly four heroes down, John.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like they had a good high ground lined up. Joe Cam with the angles for the dispose, and he has the Aether Lens, he has only the Keen Optic, and that range is still ridiculous. He pulls Yopaj all the way back, isolates him from the rest of the team. They don't get a massive, you know, 3-man chrono going, but it's still enough. Just the isolation is necessary. They get some lucky bashes at the end to cancel off TPs. The basher buildup from Dreamersol are paying off, and they hold on. They don't lose any racks up top. They still have a little bit to play with. The lead of Boom isn't overwhelming. It's only a 5k lead so far. And NGX are showing us they can still find the openings. They can still work up against Boom. It's still heavily in Boom's favor, but remember, the net worth's still only 5k. It's not like they're playing at a huge item advantage. Alacrity and Dreamosell are keeping up quite nicely, and it still begs the question, towards the late game, is the Razor DP enough to deal with, say, I don't even think the Dawnbreaker is the big factor here. It's more like Puck and Faces Void. Do you have enough to play against that Chrono, to play against a highly slippery Puck that we've seen into the later points in game once it does have the level 25 onwards and starts to get some CDR onto it, like would say an Octarine buildup? It is hard to suppress that Puck. So I'm keen to see if Boom can kind of get that control, start to turn things around, as it does feel like the clock is ticking just a bit. They go for a smoke play here though, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of clocks, John, Skem might find Boom Boy again. Boom Boy kind of abusing the Nature's guys. He's gonna stay behind in that tree line. Boom still smoked up on the high ground of that Radiant Triangle. Everyone's gonna be just fine here from NGX.SEA. Back right out of there. They're really got to be careful about this Marcy. I mean, JoeCam's been doing a splendid job this game with the dispos and constantly just putting people out of position. It's now Boom. They're going to smoke up once again. Down maybe towards the bottom side of the map, they are going to see Dreamosell. Does clear out the creep wave, but looks like he wants to TP out anyway. And he will do so. So it's only going to be Boom Boy left over here on the tree. And nice scan out, though. Dreamosell, he has not TP'd yet. Rocket Flare is not going to give vision, but they seem to know he's there somewhere. Instead, though, they are going to run into the tree, and they'll have to take what they can get. So pick up Boom Boy. Again, not quite the kill they would have wanted to go high ground once again, but to be fair, Boom Boy is out of buyback right now. So it's going to be quite a long respawn timer. There's going to be about a minute where Boom can play 4v5.
Yeah, and they take away a big tool. Overgrowth's been a big part of what allows NGX to kind of find some angles. Again, it's all about that teamfight control here for NGX and isolating one hero, stacking or staggering some of that spell use. Boom. I mean, they could try to find that opening now. They still have Exo ready to go, and they will poke and prod onto the high ground. They do have the double damage running on Yopaj as well, but they'll swing for top and just wanting to get the creep wave in and looking for that exposed Rax.
Keep your eyes peeled here for JoeCam, who does try to jump in already. Dreamcaller's there, they're looking for a snap, and they do find it. Japoy being caught out as Dreamosell jumps right in with a big Starbreaker. Is it enough? Chronodropped as well. They've got him. Yopaj has gone once again. Onto Jackie they go, but he's a bit tankier. On the Razor, Overgrowth has been committed. Jackie, he'll refresh, but he has to back out. They've lost Skem as well. NGX.SEA. What a great defense to come out once again off the back of JoeCam, who does end up on the high ground of a cliff, John. But let's ignore that for a moment, because JoeCam, he's setting up everything. It's Tims, Aeon discount is going to be proc, but eventually they'll have their way with him. Tims will drop. Dreamosell to take the kill on the Dawnbreaker. And again, I mean, they're doing a great job of defending high ground.
You know what's really happening here, Mike? You've got two former Boom players on NGX now, right? Dreamosell and JoeCam up against Boom. Maybe the former teammates just know enough about Boom. Although, again, this is a different iteration of Boom. The only common ground there is really Equal himself, Mr. FBZ. And they're just doing a fantastic job of connecting. Maybe that history of Dreamosell and JoeCam are allowing them to kind of communicate better. We are seeing much more synchronized movement out from NGX. We're seeing more activity coming through. Dreamosell, though, has to be careful, but bails out before FBZ can roar. Still in danger.
Oh, Dreamosell, he's got help on the way, but it might be too late. They've already got the roar off. Mizu trying to help out, but has no chrono available. Is going to try and back his way out of there as they do at least kill off Skem. Can they find a bit more? Unleash Pop. Jackie starting to drop low. Might just go down and does. Oh, maybe they clean up here in GX. Still trying after FBZ, but here comes Yopaj. Coming right in. Onto the puck they go. Do they have the lockdown though, Tims? Not going to land the Earth Spike as Mizu jumps back in after FBZ, but the Hawk Dive is there in time. The Beastmaster will still drop as Yopaj trying to move back in for another kill attempt, but Tims now is the one in danger as they do find the Void, but Tims, he's trapped up. He's going to drop. Yopaj, he'll find JoeCam, but that should be enough. Or is it? He's thinking again to try and move back in onto the park as Alacrity will avoid the silence and is going to juke out the Death Prophet. That'll be enough. Still a decent cleanup from NGX.SEA. Boom Esports once again throwing another team fight.
Yeah, they just constantly clump up in, and NGX, they're starting to get a lot of value out from the time dilation here on Mizu. He did go for the +6 DPS per cooldown as well. I mean, it's not a massive amount, but you do pop these big spells on one hero, and suddenly the Void comes in with a time dilation that can slow you down pretty badly. We're seeing the follow-through come through from NGX, and Boom maybe jumping the gun a bit, you know, getting a little bit too excited about some of these pickoffs or some of these heroes they find. You know, they catch Dreamo Cell out, they start to clump up, and they don't respect the puck, which goes back to our previous point earlier, Mike. We're at the point where the puck is a bit hard to keep pinned down, especially when you commit the roar onto the Dawnbreaker. It leaves a lot of room for Alacrity to just weave in and out. He's got the Dagon level 3, trying to rush it up to max, along with the Octarine coming through afterwards. He's a killer. He's just on the hunt, looking for those openings. He knows he can't be locked in unless you probably commit the roar or get a good silence somehow timed on top of the puck, which is easier said than done. And NGX are still managing to work this game. I mean, it's still a 3k lead for Boom. It's not a massive amount. Alacrity is now #1 in net worth. Dreamo Cell still keeping up to a point with Yopaj and kind of with Jackie as well. Not the biggest net worth deficit for a huge item lead. So it's still playable for NGX despite being a racks down. They just need to be cautious about giving some openings. They have to play together as a team. If they start getting picked off one by one with no follow-up, and that's where Boom starts to shine here.
Absolutely. Big smoke up, Boom. They're going to try once again, but Boom Boy, perfect position on the Treant Protector. He does break the smoke. And again, you pick up the Treant, but this is not what you want if you're Boom. It's just not the kill. Mind you, he is down for another minute and a half, so 90 seconds worth of time to get something done, and Roshan is going to be up in 10. It's the one saving grace here for Boom. They could go for Roshan. They don't have to worry about the Treant.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about that deep push in the side lane. They don't have to worry about the blink overgrowth while they're trying to go for the Rosh. Gives them a huge opening in Rosh #3, and that is with a free Ag's Blessing as well. So that could be massive. Passing on the Ag's Blessing onto, say, Jackie here could be big in opening up the high ground push.
They haven't seen it, John.
That's a bit surprising. I thought a flare went out from Scam. No Hawks out either. Focusing on the objectives. And that is buying enough time for NGX to get a respawn here if they don't spot it.
Now they see it. The Hawk is there. That previous rocket flare you talked about, it was a couple seconds a bit too early. So they see the Roshan, but they're choosing to try and force high ground instead. No, pings are out. They've got to go back. I mean, NGX, even without the Treant Protector, they have proven how powerful they can be, and you land a nice Chrono into a very nice Starbreaker here from Dreamo Cell, and just so much damage being pumped out. And keep in mind, Dreamo Cell, he's about to get that the full Daedalus up very soon. In conjunction with the Luminosity crit, that is going to hurt quite a lot. I think Dreamo Cell's already critting for what, 800-900?
Very, very balanced. And he's going to have to work extra hard up against that Aegis and Cheese that Boom will find themselves in. Does look like they will give Jackie the Ag. So again, IFD Storm on the buildings, double IFD Storm hitting onto those buildings should enable the high ground from Boom, start to allow them to find more objectives. NGX, we have to see some of that magical team fight come out again. We have to see Jokam get those big dispo saves, those big dispo isolations that they've been able to do, especially when Yopaj overextends, and kind of keep that punishment game up. Boom. They have good angles onto the top. The racks is still there. They've been trying onto the top racks for a while. They are choosing to play it a little bit more safe. NGX for their part, they're still building up, as you mentioned, Mike. Dreamo Cell, inching towards that Daedalus. You are already at the Octarine timing here for Alacrity. Only needs about 60 gold for the buyback, so he's still fairly safe. Octarine plus the Spell Prism. This puck is... it's just so scary to try and stop it. And Alacrity has so many angles to go into backline. It's hard to stop him. With the Dagon cooldown being a bit lower as well. His burst damage is kind of funny. You know, it's at that point of the game where puck is just kind of funny to watch.
16.5 seconds on that Dagon. That's going to be fun. Dagon 3. It's not Dagon 5 yet, at least, John. It still hurts quite a lot, though. That's for sure. See how this all pans out as they are going to start moving in. Rax under siege once again. Couple buybacks available as Dispose is there on Jackie. He does have the Aegis up with the Refresher. Dreamo Cell already getting rid of most of HP. Dreamo Cell is going to... Jackie is going to go down. Alacrity finding one life. That'll force the BKB out, and they're going to let the units do the rest of it. They have popped Exorcism, though. Dispose is there again. Japoi is being targeted. but he does have cheese up. They'll get the racks, and that's going to be enough. And the cheese being forced out to be taken there by Yopaj, just eaten up just in case the chrono came out. NGX.SEA, they're going to be left with one lane of barracks left in the mid lane. The net worth lead is going to extend to 11k now for Boom Esports. But like you kind of mentioned earlier, the net worth at this point doesn't really seem to matter so much anymore. It's just all about who can actually get the team fight they want, the way they want it. NGX.SEA, I still do believe have plenty of potential to try and make a comeback this game, but it's going to take the perfect team fight.
Yeah, I think it's going to take a couple of perfect team fights, not just one. There's still a tier 2 defending all the outer lanes. There's still a tier 1 down bot as well. They don't have a good angle to equalize that laning advantage Boom has, or the map control advantage they do have with 2 racks up. So it's a bit of a tough position. It's an 11k lead, which again doesn't matter much, as you pointed out as well there, Mike, but you are solidifying that lead. NGX isn't able to keep up as much. They've kind of lost that equality in terms of build-up over time. They still have the threat of the team fight. They still have the damage through from Alacrity. They still have a couple of buybacks ready to go as well. So they just need to find an angle. They're working on to support items next. Boomboy trying to go for the refresh. Double overgrowth's going to be big. If it drags long enough where you get Treant Ags, I think that's where the game stalls out. You know, if you hit something like Treant Ags here for NGX, that makes it infinitely harder for Boom to find anything done.
That it does. Boom, they're on the hunt again. Boy, this time around, just going to try and avoid them. And does do so as Yopaj unable to find him. In the meantime, FBZ has picked up a full sight device now on the Beastmaster, so another great way of just locking down these heroes. And again, Dream Assault, he's got the Lincolns up. No BKB, but he does have the BKB with the shards. That sight device, it could ruin him, it could ruin Alacrity, it could ruin Mizu. Very good item pickup here from FBZ to try and counter these 3 cores out. Boom once again paying their respects and being very patient here to NGX.SEA. Stream Assault, he does actually in fact have enough gold for the Daedalus, but he is going to hold on to that buyback gold. Needs a little bit more to get the full Daedalus up. With buyback included as... Oh, Boom. Something a little bit cheeky here, John, through the bot lane. They're going to try and sneak up. Drums are popped. They are rushing very slowly. It's a very slow kind of pace. So it's going to be a counter smoke now from NGX.SEA. Vision was there, however. But I don't believe the vision caught them smoke.
Boom, there it go. Radiant's middle tower.
Jackie, right into the tier 3 tower. He'll force them back. No smoke for you. Or is there? Mizu gonna jump in. Chrono is out already on the Razor as Japoy has jumped down. Hookshot is there. Jackie still dropping his down. As Japoy now caught out. It's gonna be a lot of damage coming in from NGX.SEA as they found a double. Even a triple. Alacrity just wiping them out. FBZ, he'll TP away, and Tim's he'll run the old-fashioned way. Eventually getting the TP off. They can not cancel his. A very interesting strategy there from Boom, but certainly not paying off in the way they hoped for.
Yeah, they tried to go through backdoor. Sure, you have Razor Ags. It's still not the fastest to go through backdoor like that. They didn't have a creep wave anywhere near, and they clump up. We talked about this earlier, Mike, where the key thing for NGX's team fights is catching multiple people in, say, Chrono. And it happens. Mizu gets a perfect lineup. They manage to set up for Dreamcell and Alacrity to get some damage off. They don't even pop anything else big. They still have Overgrowth, they still have Solar Guardian, which hasn't been coming out from Dreamcell, focusing more on the Starbreaker. And suddenly, Boom lose that net worth lead. It's down to just 1k. Their tier 2s are under threat. If they lose the next team fight, that's high ground opening up.
Wow, look at this. NGX.SEA going for a bit more. Solar Guardian is going to fly in onto FBZ. He cannot underestimate the damage output. Dreamcell. Oh, he's got him.
Oh my god.
He's picked him off from the low ground.
Even for this world.
I mean, you've got BKB up, but the Starbreaker damage, it's just so high. And he's got 2 charges of it here, John.
It's ramping up, Mike. Daedalus up for Dreamcell. Overwhelming Blink next. I'm loving the build-up on Alacrity as well, going for the Revenant Spruce. And you just kind of go for an E-Blade afterwards, then this puck is just a running death machine with a cooldown reduction. So it's getting a bit scary for Boom. We're at that point where you asked me earlier, who outscales? You have a Razor, which is a great hardcore, but you're still up against so much BKB Pierce. You're still up against really slippery heroes. Your hardest stun, your best stun is probably just Blink and Hex, or Blink and Roar Hex, which are great, but we're seeing NGX just stay so disciplined. You even have that refresh already up for Boomboy. Double Overgrowth ready. If they manage to find the next Roshan here in NGX, hand that Ags over to Boomboy, and they can hold forever. Just plant the eyes all over the map, keep deep pushing the creep wave. Even with only one Rax standing here for NGX, Boom can't pierce. And now NGX is the lead. 2K up, 32-27. This is one hell of a game, Mike. I don't know if I expected this coming in with Dreamusol to reinvigorate NGX, but it seems to be paying off for NGX.
I mean, he's been having a great game, John. 12, 5, and 11 on the Dawnbreaker, and I mean, props to Nat. She pointed out to us that, you know, other regions were making POS 1 Dawnbreaker work.
You know, I was a bit question mark on it. I didn't say it was trash or ugly, Mike. You know, that's your opinion, man.
I
You're
didn't say
the
it was
guy.
trash. I'm a Dawnbreaker player, John. I didn't say it was trash. I just said the other regions were trash. It's a very big difference, John. And I stand by those words.
Hey, if weaker regions can make it work, then Southeast Asia can surely make it work, right?
Very
So,
true.
you know, there
Very
you go.
true, John.
I
Alacrity.
mean, oh,
Top 2 towers gone, John. I think we've got a comeback on our hands. Dota Plus currently is almost agreeing with us. It's 48% to 52. Still the way of Boom, but it's a very close match. Here we go.
this is...
It's a 4-man smoke here, Jonathan. Mizu, if he can land a big chrono, this could change everything. NGX, Hook, off the mark. Tim's, Hex is out. He's got the Marcy, but there's going to be no follow-up to it. Boom. They are very scared right now, it seems. Well, they are still holding the high ground, but they understand if they can't win the next team fight, things could go very south for them. Still plenty of buybacks available on both sides. Roshan up in 1 minute 15 seconds. Neither team wanting to commit buybacks before that, obviously. It's Joe Cam, top lane. No, never mind. Towards the south, Alacrity gonna catch out one. It's gonna be Skem, but a nice 4-star away. Still Dreamusol with the overwhelming blink, gonna blink right in. FBZ, he thought about the Raw, but he has no teammates nearby. And in the meantime, they have not caught Joe Cam either. He just rebounds out of it.
Yeah, I want to point something out, Mike. If you can take a look at Dreamusol, look at his damage, 213 plus 239. You crit on top of the Luminosity, you crit on top of the Daedalus, you jump in with the overwhelming blink. He has 3.8k HP with 16 plus 34 armor. Like, this guy is a massive tank with way too much damage.
Oh, Overgrowth is there as well. Boom Boy gonna hold them down as Dreamusol almost took them out, and now the Dream Coil gonna hold them down even further. In fact, Mizu, he's gonna jump in. Boom Esports, they're in big trouble. NGX.SEA trying to make this work is now Jackie. He'll pop his BKB and try to fight back, but Dreamusol in with the Starbreaker, connecting on 2, and he's got Jackie hold down.
What?
Oh boy, NGX.SEA, they take down 3 of them. Boom, they're the ones that need to back out of there. As Tim's even caught out here by Joe Cam. It's going to be a triple kill for Dreamusol. And Roshan, it's going to respawn. Do they see it? I don't think they do, John.
I think the orb actually had lingering vision there, so they should know, but they see this opportunity. They want to maybe force those buybacks first and then dip back for the Roche. They don't have their big team fight spells up though on the side of NGX, so this can be a bit scary, but Boom, they're not going for the buybacks yet.
Well, they're going to have to now. Tim's will commit his own. Maybe they're just trying to hold off to see how greedy NGX.SEA get. You know, just surprise them with the FBZ and Jackie buyback, but no, for now, it's only going to be 1 lane of racks taken. But more importantly, Roshan is up. We'll see if they did indeed see that Roshan, and it does seem like they have, John. They're rushing right towards the pit. It's got everything available on it.
Oh no.
This could be a real troublesome moment here for Boom, but for NGX.SEA, it's a great moment.
Yeah, this is a massive turn. 11k lead now for NGX. 1 racks to equalize in the 1 lane that they have their own racks intact, so it kind of evens out the map just a little bit more. Secondary life for Dreamusol. Ags upgrade available for Mizu to kind of dance around with his time walk as well. Refresh and Cheese left though. Sylvan's got to pick that stuff up. You'd want an extra overgrowth here and there.
Scam already caught. Dreamusol will take him down. John, he's 17, 5, and 11 now on this hero. This is his debut reappearance back into the scene.
Well, technically no, right? You know, he did stand in for the Apes last tour that one time when Jacroy couldn't play.
Talk about that,
so
John. Let's talk about that, please.
that didn't end up too well, but this is going extra special for Dreamusol. He is looking good. He's, kind of proving a point up against Old Boom, and onto the high ground they go. 2 lives on Dreamocell. Abyssal Blade up. He has so much damage. He has so much HP. This just doesn't feel fair. Like, they can't stop him. He's just so patient.
Hex is out. Overgrowth though. Boom Boy gonna catch 3 of them. Now the mana drain actually flying out onto a couple targets. So Mizu is jumping in for a big chrono. He's got 3 targets, but they've caught Dreamocell in it. He's dying to the exorcism and is gonna go down. So they accidentally give the first Aegis away for free. In they go again for another team fight. Jackie, he'll static link away though. Dreamocell in trouble. Now they've got Alacrity on the puck, but he's still fine. He'll go for a phase shift up. Another Hex is there. Tim's will lock him down. In fact, it was FBZ on the Beastmaster, but the puck somehow still alive. Gonna blink right back out or back in. Jackie still in trouble. This Razor as the Dagon is there trying to help him out. Is Japoy, but it's not gonna be enough. Jackie's gone. He'll commit buyback on the Razor as NGX.SEA. They are still trying to rush forward. Another Starbreaker out onto the Idol. They've got him down. No buyback available. Onto FBZ, they'll take him out as well. Is this gonna be a GG call? It will be Skim. He's called it. NGX.SEA pulling off the comeback and the upset against Boom Esports. And what a return of Dreamocell. Jonathan Randy's back, and he gets his sweet revenge in game 1 against his former teammate.
Oh my god. Can you imagine 2 old Boom members on NGX's side? Randy, Muhammad, Dreamocell, Sao Petro with Jokam, Traikunkuro up against Boom. The only old member left, FBZ, Ipul, and they managed to beat him. It wasn't like an overwhelming win, right? You have to give props. NGX looked strong, but so did Boom. They had their conditions met. They were building up. They were finding those early objectives. But NGX had composure. They weren't, jumping around forcing these fights. They took their time. They had Dreamocell farm up. He hits the Desolator, and it looks pretty nice. Not enough. They keep farming up. Alacrity does a lot of good work on the puck. I think the stand, everyone played so well, but Jokam with those disposes on the high ground defense, that's what set them up, along with Muzu's Chronos. But those two working as a unit to isolate Yopaj when he was going up, it just gave these openings, and Boom had no counterplay for that. They had nothing defensive to save these cores when the Aether Lens and Keen Optic and the Psychic Handband were there for the dispos. You just get tossed back into the high ground, you can't do anything.
It is an insane amount of range, and the amount of tossback is kind of ridiculous. Still, we are going to head off to a very short break, and of course, right after that break, we'll be back with our panel for game number 2's draft. We'll see you there.